Roblox is home to many, many games. And some are good, and some are bad. And, okay, let's just get to the point. We're talking about Dandy's World. Dandy's World is a PvE, player versus enemy, type A sim game where you play as Toons fighting against Twisteds. And by fighting, I mean running from them, because this game makes you more useless than a two-time who can't trick stab. By the way, only 5% of two-times can actually trick stab, and yet the devs still nerfed him into the goddamn ground and made him extremely unplayable. I'm gonna bring up a lot of issues with Forsaken during this review. And trust me, when you mention the fact that Forsaken is the game I was supposed to be reviewing before this one, you can kinda see why I'm doing it. Getting mastery on every character in that game is a living nightmare. Unlike getting mastery in this game, where instead of a shitty level up system, you instead just have random quests that require you to just play the game normally. This game does something. Now, don't worry, as you do still have the hope of survival. Unless if you're doing matchmaking servers, which then you're fucked. Basically, most of the Twisteds are NPCs. Due to this, they will either chase you until losing sight, or until a lower stealth player walks by. The only time where stealth actually matters in the game. I'm just gonna come out and say it, there are a lot of things in this game that make the game unnecessarily hard. And I do somewhat hope these things do get changed in the future. This game's main difficulty is probably what makes it unfun to play when you get to later floors. In fact, it became so unplayable we needed to invent distracting. This game has a really big RNG problem, mainly when it comes down to what you're going to get, as well as what floor you're going to get. I'm not the first person to say this, but there are way too many small floors in Dandy's World, which becomes an issue when you mention the game adds more Twisteds and more machines the higher up you go. And with Squirm, the newest character being added, being the only one who has a unique ability that doesn't involve just chasing you, yeah, this kind of becomes an issue. Another big issue I also kind of find is how most of the mains in this game are kind of useless, if I'm being genuine. Other than maybe Fee, Sprout, and Shelly, alongside like maybe a Bassie and Pebble, most of the mains kinda suck. Astro is hardly ever played by anybody, even though he's the most expensive main out of all the characters. Gordy has too low of stealth to be part of the meta, and Bobette is just all around useless. Not only that, but these characters only have 2 hearts, which, in the end, also kinda makes the game harder, don't you think? Another big issue is also 100%ing the game. Yeah, ever since badges came out, I kinda gave up on that. Like, genuinely, what the hell is anyone doing with a make it to floor 100 badge? Like, I'm sorry, but unless if you're unemployed, I don't really know how the hell anyone's gonna manage to get something like that. That's impossible to do in a solo run, and you're gonna need a good as fuck distractor if you're going to do it in a public run. And all I can say is pretty simple. No one's getting this. The only people who are getting this are people who spend way too much time playing this damn game. And I'm sorry, but I got other games to review. I got animation to learn how to do. I got a lot of shit that I'm gonna need to learn how to do. Okay, I can't spend all day and all night playing fucking Dandy's World. Even though I love this game, still, I'm not gonna spend all my time on it. Okay? I mean, hell, I'm still trying to get masteries in Forsaken, just so I can release that fucking Forsaken review that I've been sitting on for 4 to 5 months now. Goddamn. I'm just gonna come out and say it. I don't think that review is coming out anytime soon based on the way things are going. Okay, so I was going to talk about each individual tune, but then I kind of remembered this game has a lot of tunes in it. So, I think I might just end up making a different video, going over each tune, what they do, best trinkets to use with them, stuff like that. But that doesn't mean we're done talking about gameplay features, because one of the most useful, useless features that this game somewhat has is the stealth mechanic. Stealth is only useful when playing on a team. This is mainly due to the fact that in solo runs, there is no distance, as in how far a Twisted has to be before they see you. There's no sight distance. Stealth only exists in multiplayer, basically, and that is not actually a good thing. There are other things I also wish this game added, like a arrow that shows where the Twisted is when it sees you, so that you know to run away. I mean, I can think of multiple games that have something like that, like Hitman, The Last of Us, even Spider-Man on the PlayStation had it. Like, just a slight indicator to let you know, hey, you're about to be seen by something. Now, on early floors, this wouldn't really make sense, but for later ones, this would be needed. Especially with the lack of time this game will give when it comes down to it. Twisteds bolt to you the second they see you, which means knowing where they are when they see you is very important. And, well, a game doesn't always give you that luxury. Now, this wouldn't completely remove distracting, as we know it, because, once again, map design, twisted AI, unique twisteds not really existing that much, and much more. Basically, you're still going to need a distractor if you're trying to make it to high floors. Fixing this one issue with stealth isn't going to make solo running to floor 100 something that's possible. It's just gonna make it to where the game's a bit less of a pain in the ass to play when trying to deal with this. Other than that, though, there are multiple excuses for why distractors still exist in the game, and there are multiple game features that this game genuinely does actually need. I think another thing that I also hate about this game is its matchmaking system. Now, matchmaking in any game isn't that good. I mean, take Forsaken for example. They have really bad matchmaking, but still, that doesn't fix any of this. Like, I'm just gonna be completely honest, some of the most retarded people I have ever come across play in matchmaking servers. And no, that's not me being me, that's me being genuinely honest. I think fucking Fexen, or whoever the hell that guy is, he says it best. There's too many kids in this game. And before somebody says it's a mascot horror game, yeah, I understand that. The issue is, it's a mascot horror game with complex features. It's a mascot horror game that requires you to use your brain, that requires you to have common sense. It's like playing with random people in Forsaken. You ever wonder why the killer wins every round, even though the game is survivor-sided? It's because the game's only survivor-sided when people actually work as a team. Most people in Forsaken don't work as a team in public servers, so the killer just gets to easily pick off each and every player while everyone just focuses on trying to survive themselves instead of actually, playing their part as a teammate. Especially when it's people who play as fucking guest out of all characters. That extra 15 health is not for you. Make you last longer. It's so that you can hopefully defend your teammates. Have we forgotten block exists as something that guests can do? Okay, back to D&D's world. Still, one of the biggest issues that I do come across is pretty simple. Matchmaking players get hurt way too often. Not only that, but a lot of them get killed before floor 5 even completes. Hell, you're lucky if you can even make it past floor 10. A lot of these people require a distractor. A lot of these people require a healer. A lot of these people require a lot of things, and I'm just gonna be genuine when I say this. I begin to heal people around floor 10 when I play this game. Mainly for one reason. If they are constantly getting themselves hit, there's no point in healing them. This isn't like Forsaken, where the killer is constantly targeting you, so as an Elliot, you have to make sure you constantly keep the person who's being chased up on health. This is D&D's world. These are AI. They have passing. They just wander around. They stop targeting you after, what? You suddenly cut eye contact with them? If you are getting hit this much at this point, you don't deserve to be healed. You're just a liability. I genuinely like playing as characters like Sprout when I don't feel like doing machines. Sprout and Basty are two great characters for people who just don't want to do machines but still want to help out. But, Sprout costs 100 tapes in order to heal 1 heart. You're gonna have 100 tapes by the time you make it to floor 3. People get hit around floor 1. Mains get hit around floor 1. And it's shit like this that does genuinely piss me off. Sometimes I genuinely just wish we could go back to the time when people actually hosted runs. And no, I'm not talking about those organized runs where people act entitled and get upset. I'm talking about runs where anyone could join, where you could see everyone's trinkets before you got into the elevator so you could decide if you do or don't want to join these people. A time where people were actually able to think, do I want to join this run or do I not want to join? Now, the experience is I hop into matchmaking, I look at everyone's trinkets, I look at the tune they're playing, and I decide from there if I want to continue. If I don't, I have to leave the game and then rejoin, and if I do, then I just hit ready up, maybe change my trinkets or character depending on what is and isn't in the elevator. I'm just gonna say it, if matchmaking is based off of highest floor, then good God. These people have been carried the entirety of their gameplay experience. Never once actually had to do a solo run. Never once actually had to try and play the game normally. Like, yes, I get it. Game isn't the best. The AI passing isn't the best. Everything about the game's not the best. But dear God, the amount of people I see who have probably made it to, like, what, floor 37, which is my highest floor? So you've basically made it to floor 37, and you're this bad at the goddamn game, you can't avoid getting hit on floor 1 against common twisteds that do nothing but chase you. It's not a goob, it's not a scraps, it's not a swarm, it's not any of the mains, it's not any of the characters that can put status effects on you. Okay, it's not a Twisted Roger, it's not a Connie, it's not anything. It's a common twisted. Like, I'm sorry, but if you manage to get yourself hit by a twisted, like, fucking Shrimpo, at this point, I'm just leaving the game, because I know damn well you are not lasting long, and I know damn well that this entire team ain't lasting long. Okay, now, I don't like the idea of skin slop, because, well, there are tons of games that have a lot of skins, okay? Like, Forsaken has a ton of skins, and they release new ones constantly. There are some skin concepts I think they should release. I don't know why they haven't released them yet, but still. At least with Forsaken skins, you can tell they put effort in. Like, think of skins like that one John Doe skin that mixes with the Elliot skin, or Hack Lord, or like the Batter from Off skin that they have for Slasher, or half of the Shadlesky skins that exist. Like, with a lot of these skins, they put work in. With Dandy's world, not only do they have a big skin problem, but their skins are A, extremely expensive, especially holiday skins, and B, their skins are genuinely just lazy recolors of the characters. Like, if you're lucky, you'll get a skin that actually, changes the character model a bit. Like the Cool Dude Eggson skin, or the Circus Trio Easter skins, or the Tegan skin for Easter. Stuff like that, but very rarely that's ever gonna happen. You're just gonna get the base model with, like, new colors, and that's it. And it's like, I don't see that as too big of a problem. But at the same time, I'm not playing this game. And I'm not grinding this hard for some shitty-ass skins. Except, yes, the hell I am, because I want to 100% the game. And you know what? If collecting all these skins gets me closer to that, then sure thing, I'll buy all of them. It's horrible. Like, I swear, Quell just looks at her audience and she's like, "Hey, Dandy's World fan, don't worry. We've got enough slop to make sure that you grow big and strong when you're older. Hey, skin designers, the boy is hungry. Get him more skins." And it's like, we don't want skins. We want gameplay changes. You gonna listen to us or not? Like, other than maybe a new floor event that's only temporary, or new Twisteds that once again are only temporary, most events just bring a crapload of skins that are way too much to grind for. I remember the Halloween event is the event where I got Dial's Trinket just because of the amount of time I had to spend doing Dial's floor multiple times just because it had 25 machines, which means extra event currency. One of the issues I think a lot of holiday skins have is simple. They're too expensive. Like, yeah, 600 Iker, you're gonna get that easily. Like, come on, you get Iker at the end of floors, you get Iker from doing machines, you get Iker from capsules, you get Iker from a lot of things. Event currency, you get that from completing machines, not doing, completing. Okay, you can basically have no work done on a machine, but the second someone gets off of a machine and you go to, complete it, immediately you're the one who gets the 5, currency for it. As well as just finding 2 spawns of it on the map. Like, this became such a big issue, they actually had to make double event currency weekends just because of how many skins there are. And we saw this ramp up with the Halloween event. And Quell said the Christmas event isn't going to be the same way. The Christmas event is actually going to try. They didn't. They just did the same thing, and they openly lied to us. And then they said, with the Easter event, we're going to do something different. And they do the same thing once again. Like, at this point, if there was a summer event, I'm pretty sure most people would quit. Like, there comes a point where you need to actually think about if you should be putting time into this. Because making these skins does still take time. Even if they're lazy recolors, you still have to take the model. You gotta recolor the model. You gotta make sure all the animations for the model work. Like, making a skin takes time, so if you're gonna make a skin that most likely nobody's gonna use, let alone make a skin on characters that nobody's going to use, then you're just wasting time that could go to other things, like, I don't know, fixing the game's problems? Something we have repeatedly asked you to do? Sorry, but skins are not the entirety of a game, and they shouldn't be the entirety of a game's content. I own most of the skins in the game, except for the Game Pass ones. And let me tell you, I am not happy about it. Especially when you mention the fact that the only skins that actually mean something are mastery skins. And that's mainly because the mastery skins require you to actually get mastery. And some character masteries are kinda hard. But other than that, most of the skins in this game kinda just suck, if I'm being completely honest. Okay. So, this part is going to be kind of serious. I'm probably not going to tell many jokes. But it is about a certain dev who got removed from the dev team by Quell. Based on what I've heard, the person was a predator. He has done multiple things that are pretty bad. He's a manipulator, a very heavy abuser, and apparently he doesn't feel bad about any of these things. Most abusers don't feel bad about these things. He did make an attempt to come back to the game with some rework ideas, which just made the game way too easy. And yeah, I will give him credit. Some of the things he worked on were actually beneficial for the game, but that doesn't excuse his actions. And I'm not somebody who is technically qualified to speak about this. I'm just gonna say everything is alleged. And there will be a video linked in the description, I'm pretty sure, if I can find it, that talks about, I think his name is Rux. Yeah, that talks about Rux and the things he did. For now, I think we should get back to, other topics about the video. And, maybe we start talking about the good stuff that the game has. Because we've kind of been negative, and I don't really think we should end the video off talking about him. I think, like, Quelver... no, not... That's the dev for the game. Quiniver, I think the person's name is. The person with the fucking Fanny from Five Nights at Freddy's, character that she uses on her channel. Okay, that person. The one who's friends with Pastra. I'm pretty sure they go more in depth on stuff that they've done. They personally knew one of the victims of Rux, so I might just link her review of D&D's World. I did also comment on that review. If any of you want to actually go searching for that comment, it's mainly about how I hate the research system. Other than that, I will find other videos that go over what Rux did. And, let's just move on to the good stuff. Now, yeah, I have to mention him because he is a big part of D&D's World, and people have begun to actually take his side and ask for him back on the team. Mainly stupid kids who don't understand how severe the things he's done actually are, but still, people want him back on the team, so of course I have to bring up what he did. Give people a reminder of why he's no longer on the dev team for this game. You know what? Hey, this game gets an extra point. Because Forsaken didn't kick their fucking pedophile off of their dev team yet. Like, yeah, I guess Soul doesn't make any money off the game, but he's still technically listed as a developer, when he shouldn't be. They've lost all rights to that game. Either way, let's just get back to the game and less about the bad people who used to be part of the game. Okay, so now we get to talk about gameplay. You know, the thing the whole game is based around. Now, the gameplay for this game isn't too hard. Yeah, it does require thinking, something most kids these days don't know how to do, but it's not the hardest thing in the world. Run around the map, collect Ichor, collect research, try not to get seen, pick up items that will help later on, do machines, and try to get as high as possible. Now, when I talk about high, I'm not talking about the weed type of high. No, I'm talking about trying to get to the highest floor possible. Now, the higher you go, the harder the game gets. That's how games like this work. One thing I do think that is a bit of a problem is how slow D&D's World can be. This game has a really big issue with, how do I put it? This game has a big issue with progress. Depending on what type of team you get, you might have floors that go by within a minute, because everyone actually does their part. Or you might have floors that go by way slower because people are too busy walking around the map instead of actually doing machines. Like, trust me when I tell you, a distractor is not what you need. What you need is the ability to locate and do a machine as fast as possible. Your team ain't gonna die because you don't have a distractor. It's gonna die because you're not doing the main objective. You're making the floor take longer and people are being chased. Can't hide from Twisteds forever. Now, one big issue I have found with this game is the meta. The meta for this game sucks. The meta for this game is pretty simple though. Extractors extract, distractors distract. What makes you a distractor? Just have fast tuned stats, okay? Movement, speed. Just, if it's anywhere above 3 stars, you're immediately put as a distractor. And then just have people with high extraction speed and high skill check, which By the way, extraction speed isn't even that useful. Skill check is more useful when it comes down to it. The more skill checks you have, and the bigger it is, the more Iker gets put in the machine. Extraction speed is just how fast Iker enters when you're going at a base speed without a skill check showing up. And hey, this is something that a lot of people hate to hear, but I'm just gonna come out and say it. Pebble is a good extractor. Yeah, I brought up, like, Fexen, or whatever the fuck his name is. So, yeah, of course I'm gonna bring up this opinion. And you know what? As someone who managed to make it to floor 20 for Pebble's, mastery in a solo run, he actually isn't that bad. Now, V is, like, what? 2 seconds faster, but that's it. Other than that, Pebble is super good. Most people just don't use Pebble for extraction because it's Pebble. Of course, they're not gonna fucking use him for extraction. Everyone's got distraction on the mind, and he has 5-star movement speed. Even though he's a survivalist character, not a distractor. Distracting was never part of the game. It was made in the part of the game, but that doesn't mean shit when you mention other things. Other than that, we also have to talk about Dandy's shop and card voting. Dandy's shop is very basic. Dandy will show up every, is it odd or even? Every even floor. Fuck, what are... Listen, I dropped out of high school, okay? Don't look at me like this. Dandy will just fucking show up. Every odd floor. Even floor. Yeah, every even floor he shows up on floor 2. Every even floor, Dandy shows up. And he will sell you a assortment of items. Sometimes he has stuff that's useful, and other times he sells you straight trash. Only issue is, not buying from Dandy leads to him getting mad. If you continue to, piss him off, he turns into Twisted Dandy. Twisted Dandy is a lethal. He can one-hit kill you. He usually runs to the machine that's been completed first, and when the elevator door opens, he immediately bolts to the elevator door. Dandy is somebody you have to be careful for. Dandy runs are pretty easy to do, just don't buy from him 3 times in a row and he gets mad. Pretty basic. Next thing we have to talk about is the card vote. Card votes happen on odd numbered floors. So stuff like 3 and floor 5, you know, shit like that. Most of these cards are useful things. They can stop floor events from happening. They can give a heart to players. They can give you a random item. They can make extraction faster. They can give you, like, extra stamina and a bit of a cooldown on your ability. Usual stuff. One card, though, the Time's Up card, will take you to Dial's floor. Dial is another lethal. And Dial's floor, if you weren't paying attention to what I mentioned earlier with the skins, is a very easy floor. I mean, I've completed it multiple times. In fact, I'm pretty sure I've completed it at least 17 times by now. And the achievement only counted 6 because achievements came out after the Christmas update. And I had gotten Dial's trinket during the Halloween one. One thing to keep in mind, it's very simple. You only get your 5 research on Dial by completing his floor. Yeah, you can't just let him see you and then get killed and you instantly have it. Back then, that's how it used to work, but now it's not. Now, if you want Dial's research, you actually have to try to complete the floor. The 2 research that you'll get from the capsules will save, but that's just 2 research, and you need 100, and Dial's floor card only starts spawning around floor 9. Trust me, it has a very low spawn rate. So, yeah. Now, there are 3 achievements for completing this floor. Completing it once will give you the Clocked In achievement. Completing it 25 times will give you the Overtime achievement. And completing it with Shrimpo will give you the Hissy Fit achievement. I almost got the Hissy Fit achievement, but got killed last second by a common, with only 5 machines left. Yeah, one of the big issues with Dial's floor is pretty simple. Dial is not a threat. The commons are. You're going to be focusing so much on avoiding Dial, you're probably going to end up running into a common. And when you mention the fact that commons do nothing but just chase you, this becomes an issue. Now, commons aren't the only thing that can spawn on Dial's floor, but they are most likely to. You can also get rares on Dial's floor. You can also get mains on Dial's floor. I haven't seen this happen, but I have seen video of it happening. But you're mostly going to come across commons. Now, if you're able to get all 25 machines done without missing a single skill check, you can enter the elevator and you will be rewarded with an extra 50 stamina. That's it. Not an extra stat boost to like one of your stats, like maybe an extra star or 2 stars added on to your stats. Not an extra this, not an extra that. Just 50 stamina. Yeah, after the whole this is a new thing that got added to the game thing, fever wore off for people began to realize that Dial's floor is actually not the best option when playing this game, as most of your team is going to end up dead. Now, you used to be able to distract Dial with Bassie. You can no longer do this anymore. Well, you still can, but it's still extremely hard to do it. I have seen video of someone distracting Dial with Shrimpo, though at this point I think anything's possible. Anyways, let's go from talking about Dial's floor to talking about trinkets. Trinkets are items that you equip to make your experience easier. 2 of the best trinkets when it comes down to the meta are V-Mote and Dog Plush. V-Mote completes any machine immediately as long as half of the machines on the floor have not been completed yet. And Dog Plush gives you an extra 10% boost on walk speed. And that's it. Now, you can try other trinkets. If you have a character with high skill check, then you can try using Participation reward and Magnifying Glass, which will give you a very, very big advantage when completing machines. Or well, when doing machines, because skill checks show up more often, and skill checks will give more Iker. And all you have to do is just deal with a slightly smaller skill check. Not too hard when your character has 5 in skill check. This combo is really broken on characters like Gordy, who have both 5-star in skill check and 5-star in extraction speed. If only Gordy didn't have 1-star in stealth, he'd actually be part of the meta. Anyways, 2 trinkets that are hard to get in this game though are Dandy Plush and Train Whistle. You can probably guess why. Dandy Plush you get from completing 100% research on Twisted Dandy. This just gives you a discount at Dandy's shop, that's it. And Train Whistle, which you get for completing Dial's floor. Train Whistle kinda sucks. Train Whistle basically just removes the downside of slowness. That's it. The slowness debuff that certain Twisteds can put on you just gets removed. Now, if this game had 3 trinket slots, instead of just 2, I could see Train Whistle as being a must-have. But seeing as there's only 2, Train Whistle is only useful if the daily Twisted is V or Finn. Other than that, Train Whistle kinda sucks. And, I mean, hell, just play fucking Veronica. She is immune to every debuff in the game. So I genuinely just say play as her. Anyways, now let's talk about abilities. Not all abilities are created fair, but most abilities are pretty good. There are 2 types of abilities in this game: passive abilities and active abilities. Passive abilities are abilities that activate on their own when something is done, either getting hit, or a machine being completed, or just something has to happen. Active abilities are abilities that you activate yourself. These are abilities like being able to help somebody else, putting down a bonbon for your teammates, grabbing somebody as goob, teleporting to somebody, revealing all the machines on the map, and Twisteds. Usual shit. Now, one thing to keep in mind is pretty simple. Not all abilities are good. Most abilities in this game suck. In fact, some of the mains are genuinely just better versions of already existing characters. V is just a better version of Brightney. Pebble is just a better version of Cole. Astro is Well, he's just Astro, there's no better version of him. Other than that, Shelly's just a better version of Finn, Sprout is just a better version of Cosmo, and so on and so on. The only characters that technically don't have any counterpart to them that can be related are the holiday mains, because they're holiday mains, so you don't have to get mastery on any of the characters in order to unlock any of the holiday mains, luckily. And Astro. The most you have to do is just get encountered by Twisted Dandy. Pretty easy if you're doing a D&D one. Just gonna come out and say it. Now, let's get into what certain abilities can do. Now, there is no ability in this game that affects Twisteds, sadly. Like, at all. Which kind of sucks, but whatever. Maybe soon in the future, if characters still continue to get released after this game's removed from alpha, we might actually see this. But for now, we aren't seeing any characters that can do anything to Twisteds. Other than that, most active abilities in this game will at least give you 5 Ichor upon a use. So if you're grinding out Ichor, I'd recommend playing as a character who has an active ability who can also do machines quickly and who can also, survive for a long period of time. Other than that, I think we should also move on to badges. Badges recently got added into the game and are not something that always existed. Also, am I the only person who finds it surprising that Dandy's World added badges before Forsaken did? Like, yes, Forsaken has achievements, but achievements for what? What's the point in getting half of these achievements if they don't show up anywhere, if you can't display it? Like, some of these goddamn Forsaken achievements are actually really goddamn hard. And for what? A piece of text to say, congratulations, you did something. At least some of the achievements give you, like, special skins. Like the medic skin for Dusakar or the engineer skin for Builderman. But other than that, there's nothing. And the only badge for Forsaken is the welcome badge. That's it. Every other achievement is just an achievement. You don't even get to display what achievements you've gone and done, unlike in games like Doors, which let you display your achievements over your head. Maybe we should talk about Dandy's World's achievements. Now, there aren't many achievements that are character-based, other than Squirm's achievement, Fine Dining. Most achievements can just get completed with any character. This includes running a far distance, picking up a certain amount of items, buying items, talking to Dandy, talking to Dial, completing a certain number of floors. Which, by the way, why is there a floor 100 achievement in this game when this game was not designed for you to make it to floor 100? Like, I'm just gonna say it, when Quell can get to floor 100 as, one of the playable tunes, not as Dandy or Dial, tunes who have 5-star in everything, mainly because they're, dev-exclusive characters. No. One of the characters that was actually released that's playable for everyone. When you can make it to floor 100 as one of those characters without using any of your developer shit, and just by playing the game normally, then you can add a badge like that to the game. Right now, she literally just added a badge that only, 5% of this game's player base actually owns? I've only come across 2, maybe 3 people in games that actually have this badge. Now, the floor 50 badge isn't too bad. I've seen plenty of people with it. I don't have it because, once again, highest floor I could make it to was 37, but hey, that ain't too hard. There are some badges that will be hard to get, like main character, which requires you to have an entire run of 8 players with everyone playing as a unique main, which basically means no duplicates. Everyone has to be playing as one out of the 8 mains in the game. Which means someone has to play as Gordy and someone has to play as Bobette. And trust me, nobody wants to play as Bobette and nobody wants a Gordy on their team. Once again, I mentioned Hissy Fit, an achievement that's way too damn hard to get. Something you actually have to go out of your way to get, if I'm being genuine. But then there's others, like completing a certain number of machines, something you can easily do, and much more. Yeah, a lot of these badges are really easy when you realize most of them are just play the game. Center of Attention can be a pretty hard badge, but as long as you're distracting, you'll probably get it. Either that or just play a solo run and get to floor like 26 and hope to God all the Twisteds are Twisteds that actually chase you. You don't have to be chased for a certain amount of time, you just have to have 6 Twisteds on your head, which means by the time the 6th Twisted actually sees you is the time you get the achievement. Pretty basic stuff, honestly. Other than that, there are other achievements in the game too, like Master of Masteries. Just get mastery on 20 characters, pretty easy. Some characters you can't unlock unless if you have mastery on others, so it's not really the hardest thing in the world to do. And, yeah, I think that's kind of just it when it comes down to badges. Badges are very new, and I do expect new badges to come out, hopefully. But most badges in this game are they're just there. Either way, when it comes down to it, the gameplay is pretty basic. Do machines, try not to get seen, and try to make it to high floors. Now, I will come out and say it, the whole stealth thing is still an issue with this game, but I'm sure the devs are working on trying to get that fixed. I mean, hey, Forsaken has something like that, where the farther away from a character you are, the less likely they are to chase you. And I'm talking about the NPCs that killers can spawn, not the actual killers themselves. Why can't they put in Dandy's world? After all, aren't Quell and the devs of Forsaken friends or something? I mean, I'm also still kind of waiting for that collab to come out. I was told there was going to be a collab between these two games like 6 months ago. Is that collab ever actually happening or not? Like, if anything's going to get me to continue playing Forsaken, them adding skins of Dandy's World characters to the game, that might do it. Okay, now I know a game or show or movie's fan base can be a massive concern on reputation. And hell, we have seen multiple times like Has-Been Hotel and The Amazing Digital Circus and stuff like that where fans will very actively ruin their own media that they're a fan of. I mean, we really do see this. One of the biggest stations of a fanbase ruining its media is the My Hero Academia fandom. I remember this when I was a kid. I used to be part of this when I was a kid. And yeah, just gonna come out and say it. We weren't the best of people. Anyways, recently more media has come out and we've kinda seen what's come of it. Has-Been Hotel has very heavily been ruined by its own fan base. I mean, fuck, half the community wants 2 characters that have no romantic chemistry to fuck, while the other half the show to actually focus on what the show is about. And, yeah, that's something. Other than that, there are other issues, like certain characters from shows being told to us as powerful, only for us to see them on screen, and they are basically nothing. And a lot of Fizzy Pop shows in general just have big issues with doing a lot of telling, not enough of showing. The Amazing Digital Circus also has this issue where, well, one character who was a background character became a main character, only issue being that main character wasn't a likable character. And I'm just gonna come out and say it, I don't think a lot of indie creators actually know how to write a show. Because, dear God, if you write your show like it's a fan fiction, people are gonna start calling it a fan fiction. Another big game that's also gotten a lot of scrutiny is Forsaken for, its horrible fan base. Yeah. Now, you can complain about fan bases all you want, but one thing you have to keep in mind is most creators don't actually have control over what their fans do. They can say stop, and that's about it. Other than that, people are going to do whatever the fuck they want. There's no stopping it. Now, a bad fan base becomes an issue when most of the fan base is based around children. Mainly when you mention the fact that, kids should not be seeing some of the things these fan bases post. Now, sometimes these kids are the ones who post the media that makes the fan base look bad. A lot of these kids have no supervision from parents and will post a lot of problematic stuff thinking that it's edgy, which it's not. There's a difference between being edgy and being a bad person. Like, yeah, if you're gonna say a slur, yeah, that could come off as edgy, but if you're gonna put the map flag on your OC and call yourself a map, then you're no longer being edgy, you're being a fucking pedophile. And I don't know in what world that is seen as edgy. Like, that's not edgy at all, that's fucking weird. Now, if you're joking about pedophiles, that could be seen as edgy, but if you're saying you are one, that's not. Okay, there's a difference between joking about Epstein and then saying you agree with Epstein. Like, those are two different things. Anyways, this has made people really hate a lot of media that has come out recently. Kids tend to attach themselves to media faster than adults do, and with Gen Z becoming, well, adults, we have things to focus on that aren't if Homestuck is going to get a episode 2 for the animated pilot that they released. By the way, the Homestuck animated pilot does way too much to rush through the entirety of the story. Like, as someone who's actually taken time to read the story, good god. Like, you don't even get to the trolls until, like way farther in. Like, hell, I don't even think the trolls show up for most of the story, and yet they're the most popular part of Homestuck. But still, we have jobs, we have shit we have to focus on. I mean, hell, I'm trying to do YouTube and stuff. Now, my first interactions with Dandy's World were because of the fan base. I didn't know what the fuck this game was. I just saw a picture of the character Goob in a bikini posted on YouTube, and I was like, oh, okay, that's not something I was expecting to see. Community posts on YouTube were a fucking mistake, and I'm just gonna be completely honest, I'm waiting for the day when they give you the ability to post stickers and comment in the comment sections, because God knows the type of shit people are gonna start posting on community posts. Either way, yes, this fandom can be cringy. I don't see the fandom as cringy, mainly because it's kids. Kids say they do stupid shit. Kids are kids, okay? We were all kids, and kids do a lot of dumb crap. What do you expect me to do? Okay, I'm not gonna stop a kid from having a good time just because it might be seen as weird what they find fun. Like, okay, if you wanna draw the characters making out with each other, go ahead. Why should I stop you, okay? I had a friend in middle school who drew Ed and they drew Tom and Teward from Ed's World making out. They used to think that was hot. You know what, hey, why should I tell them to stop, okay? If they want to do that, they can do that. I mean, it's kind of weird, because those two are actually based off real people, but I mean, hey, if Tomska doesn't have a problem with it, then why should I? I don't even think Tomska knows that people have done this. There are many other things that fandoms have caused. One thing being balancing. This is more of a Forsaken issue with their fandom never being happy with any of the balancing that they do. And yes, I will be reviewing Forsaken soon. Once again, leveling up characters and shit, and also there are different games that I'm probably going to review sooner since I've 100%ed those before 100%ing Forsaken. Plus, characters like Azure are planned to be released, so I don't know when that review is going to come out. All I know is simple, next review is probably going to be Die of Death. Either that or Make a Cake. Yes, I'm going to find a way to review Make a Cake. Doesn't seem like a game that needs a review, but trust me, this game does have issues that do need to be pointed out. Either way, I could maybe bring up other things that the fandom has done, but really, most of the fandom is just full of kids who don't realize that the map flag is problematic, adults who try to tell these kids, hey, stop being fucking weird, but that's not going anywhere, and people who are split on whether they should defend the Quell or if they should actually call out a lot of issues that the fandom has. I'm on the side of, hey, if the devs aren't doing shit, then why the fuck are we giving them money? That's my main thing. Like, your job is to work on this game. You're not doing this for free, you're getting paid to do this. So, how about you actually work on the game instead of just sitting there and telling us, oh, this update will be done in like a fucking year or something. Like, no, mate. Like, come on. Also, can you please just maybe tell us what you're working on currently instead of making us wait how long for updates? If you don't give people information, people aren't going to know what's going on, and if people don't know what's going on, they're not going to understand why things are taking so long to come out, and they're going to begin complaining. We see this time and time again. Hopefully, new updates come out soon, and hey, maybe we can get some stuff put on there. But other than that, yeah. I don't really have anything else to say. I think this is the end of the review. I mean, I could bring up, like, the box demon guy, but, I mean, it's kind of just some weird dude who used D&D as a mask while walking around, putting fucking boxes on people's doorsteps. You know, weird shit like that. But other than that, yeah, I think this review's over. Look out for the Die of Death review. That's probably gonna come out sooner because, well, Die of Death doesn't have any mastery skins or anything for me to do, so I could easily just top on that game, record gameplay, play as every character, and, you know, usual shit. Other than that, though, let's just say when the Forsaken review comes out, oh, it's gonna be a long-ass review. I'll just tell you that. Either way, I guess that's it. I don't really have an outro, but, yeah, I'm probably gonna put some random free royalty outro music here. Bye.